Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hidden Gems Podcast. This is a show where we like to talk about streaming services and the hidden gems that you can find on there. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Ryan is here.
Hey Rachel, it's great to be back with you once again, and it's great to be doing another preview. I mean, we're nearing the end of February. I mean, just
Yeah.
this year's already going fast. It's going too fast.
Yeah. And this is the first time that we have had hardly anything to preview for these months, partly because we don't have a whole lot of what's coming in April. At least I couldn't find it this time. But I think it's just a sign that things are finally, I think, back to normal because almost everything is going to theaters and not going to same day or to streaming services. So, yay.
Yeah, thank God for the normalcy, but at the same time, I mean, in our preview, we're going to be covering a show that's going to PBS, maybe Masterpiece. I think it's through that
Yeah,
brand. But
there wasn't that much. There were some shows, but I don't watch that much television, so there wasn't that much that was like interesting to me to talk about. But as far as movies, there was basically nothing that was going straight to streaming and not getting theatrical.
yeah, it's definitely seems like everything has been like returned to where we were. So that
Hmm.
there is that. But there's definitely some interesting stuff that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
There's a third movie that I'm really looking forward to. Let's see here. There's a biopic I'm looking forward to, surprisingly. But
Hmm.
overall, I think there's definitely stuff that I
Yeah.
would be happy to see.
Yeah, it's just that I think a lot of people would be like, "Whoa, that's not those stuff that aren't on streaming services," but there just really wasn't a whole lot. So I figured, we might as well talk about some of these things.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hmm. So what do you think about so far 2023 as far as movies go? Do you think it's been pretty good?
I mean, Ant-Man kind of left me cold, so
Yeah.
that's the first blockbuster of the year, and I wasn't super crazy about it.
Yeah, I
My
agree.
my favorite movie of the year so far is Missing. I actually contemplated seeing it again, but I talked myself out of it. But I still think that movie is really, really good. It's like it's that screen capture footage kind of thriller that I really liked with Searching, and I'm glad they brought it back with Missing because it's kind of similarly structured, and I did appreciate that. So that's my favorite movie of the year so far, but we've got some big ones coming down the track. We got Oppenheimer, we got Guardians 3, we got the Barbie movie. They'll just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Dune 2. So
This summer.
quarter one is coming to an end, but quarter two looks like it's just going to be dropping some bombs. And no, I'm not
Mhm.
just saying that because Oppenheimer is going to be in quarter two.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty good. I haven't seen Missing because that came out during Sundance and I just haven't caught up with it. But it was a good Sundance. I liked almost everything that I saw. And then the other movies that I've seen, except for the other movies, for the most part, I've enjoyed. I didn't love Ant-Man. Shotgun Wedding was really bad. So there's been some misses, of course, but I think I liked Megan more than I expected. That was pretty fun. And Love You Ari over at Hallmark has been great in the TV movie world. Really been enjoying that. So yeah, it's been a interesting, fun start to the movie year. I took my dad to see Avatar: The Way of Water, and he sees about two movies a year. And I was like, "Are you sure you want to see this movie? It's really long." And he did, and he loved it. He said it's the one of the most amazing movies he's ever seen. So he was completely won over by it, which made me very happy. It was cool. It was fun to be a part of that and see just him get so excited about it. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean,
fun.
and I mean, really, those people who are like Avatar is irrelevant. It's in the $2 billion club. I mean,
Yeah.
how irrelevant is it really?
Well, and I was thinking about that the other day, that maybe that's actually kind of nice that something was able to make $2.2 billion and just be kind of enjoyed by people, and they didn't have to like devolve. And maybe the fact that nobody's talking about it is actually kind of nice, and that it's not devolving into these fan wars, which are so unpleasant, and everybody just kind of enjoy it. And that's it. I don't know, but anyway, it was cool to go to it with my dad. So all right. Well, I guess let's dive in. Let's start talking about some of these March and April movies.
All right, let's
Uh,
rock and roll.
okay. So first up, we have a series, A History of the World Part 2. And this is from Mel Brooks, sequel to the 1981 film History of the World Part 1. And the joke in that, there's even a joke in that movie about them making a History of the World Part 2. Um, this one stars Johnny Knoxville, Taika Waititi, David Stassen, Zazie Beetz, Wanda Sykes. What did you think of the trailer for this one?
Well, I've actually seen History of the World Part 1, and I'm kind of surprised it doesn't get talked about more considering who was involved in it. They got Orson Welles as the narrator
Mhm.
for it, which is crazy to think about. But he was the narrator there, and I still think that movie is very funny. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if they're gonna make part two one day. And sure enough, like
Mhm.
Mel Brooks is like, there you go. They're like, so I did not expect it. And the trailer, even though there's some comedic actors here who I'm not over the moon about, I still think there is a lot of potential for laughs here. There were definitely some parts where like that would be interesting if they did pull that off. So I am hopeful for this.
Yeah, I feel like it's either going to be really funny, people are going to love it, or it's going to be terrible. I don't think there's going to be much in between. I hope it'll be funny. I don't know. The trailer made me a little nervous. Um, I just hope that the writing's up to par, that it doesn't feel like lazy Adam Sandler comedy, kind of that feel of like those ones he made for Netflix. And this is an Adam Sandler, but you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
I just hope it'll be funny, because I really feel like it'll go either that way. Either it'll be great and we'll all love it, or it'll be absolutely terrible.
Yeah, definitely the cringiest one was Wanda Sykes and the Underground
Yeah.
Railroad bit. I'm like, come on, guys. Everyone knows what the Underground Railroad was. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And the Harriet Tubman jokes and yeah, all that. I'm gonna give it out of between 1 to 4 excitement level. I'm gonna give it a 2 because I am nervous, but hopefully it'll be good. What do you think?
I'll go slightly higher at 2.5. I think there is potential here, but I am cautiously optimistic.
Hmm. And I feel like, is there enough there to make a whole series? Eight
Well,
episodes?
I think it's a four-part series, if my memory serves me right.
Well, there's 8 listed on IMDb. But I don't know if they know. But anyway, it seems like, is there enough for a whole series? Enough jokes. But yeah, we'll see. That'll be on Hulu coming out. So, all right. Well, let's talk about Grease: Rise of the Pink Ladies. This is a spin-off of the original John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John 1978 musical. So this is like the prequel, how they came up with the Pink Ladies. Um, what do you think?
Um, this looks interestingly enough. I mean, I've had a bit of a complex relationship, and I've told you about this in this show and privately. My relationship
Hmm.
with Grease has been kind of hot and cold over the years.
Hmm.
This trailer, though, I was like, is this entirely necessary? I mean, it's the Pink Ladies we're talking about here. And I
Yeah.
would have the same reaction if they announced they're doing a T-Birds like origin story. I'm like, okay, fine, I guess, but wasn't the last Grease thing we got was like Grease 2, and that was infamously pretty bad?
Hmm. The one thing that I wasn't sure from the trailer is how much music is going to be in it. Is it a musical series? Like, are they going to be like singing and dancing and stuff in every episode.
They did
I,
not make it clear.
yeah, it was a little, I'm a little unsure about that. And of course, if it is musical, then I'm going to enjoy it more because I love musicals. Um, but I don't think this has any of our characters from Grease coming back. Like, I don't think Rizzo's in it, or obviously Sandy and Danny wouldn't be in it. But so I think this is like the group before them, I think, because none of them are at least listed as names on the cast list. And nobody here I know, but I do like the energy of it. I think it looks well made. And it I'm definitely gonna watch. You know, it checks enough boxes for me that I've even asked the girls if they want to cover it for Hallmarkies podcast, because I think it's kind of within um our demographics. Uh, so I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I am looking forward to it. I hope it's good, but I wish I knew kind of how much of a musical it is.
I'll go with a I'll go with a 2.5. I think I would need to actually watch like a few minutes of it and because I was like seems kind of weird. But if I actually
Mhm.
watch it and give it a chance, it might win me over.
Yeah. So that's on Paramount Plus. If people want to watch it. All right. Then we have, and you mentioned this, we have Marie Antoinette coming to Masterpiece on PBS. And this follows the famed Queen Marie Antoinette, who was the last queen of France before the French Revolution. And I just thought this would be fun to talk about because I think it looks really good. You know me, I love my costume dramas, and this one looks like it has some style. It looks like it's fun. The costumes, everything. And nobody does period dramas like Masterpiece, and so I'm definitely going to be tuning in, and that's for sure. They
This
just had the All Creatures Great and Small season 3, which was so good. So they're on a roll.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm sorry interrupted you with a big loud this, but I was watching this and I was thinking to myself, boy, if they do release this on DVD and it comes to my library, it's going to be an immediate hit. We can't keep it in the library. It's going to go
Yeah.
over huge because like I know certain patrons who come into the library who they rent nothing but just like Father Brown and All Creatures Great and Small and Doc Martin and those kind of comfort kind of shows. And I know Marie Antoinette is definitely not that. That the story is definitely not that. But my point is that this definitely would lean more towards that. And this trailer did
Mhm.
look pretty good. I'm not super familiar with the story of Marie Antoinette. All I know is the whole let 'em eat cake thing, which was pretty tone deaf from what I've read. But
Mhm.
it does look very interesting. And clearly there's a budget behind it because I mean everything just looks huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on the French Revolution. I know a little bit, but it'll be fun to kind of learn a little bit more about her. And I think that the whole let them eat cake thing was like, I think that's not, I think it's apocryphal. I don't think she actually said that, or she said it in a different way, or it's been taken out of or I remember hearing something that was like made up, but I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Don't worry, I won't.
So, so I'm gonna give this a 4. It's totally my cup of tea. It's the kind of thing I like, and it looks very well done. So,
I'll go 3.5.
okay, good. All right, and then speaking of costume dramas, we have Great Expectations, and this is another version of Great Expectations. We've had so many over the years. This is going to be on Hulu. This is going to have 6 episodes, and it follows orphan Pip, who spent his childhood as a blacksmith apprentice and suddenly receives a windfall from an unknown benefactor that allows him to travel to London and enter high society. And of course, you have Olivia Colman as Miss Havisham, and that I mean that alone, that image of her as Miss Havisham is so perfect, perfect casting, perfect done. And Fionn Whitehead as Pip, and I love the story of Great Expectations. It's one of my favorite novels. It's one of my favorite of Dickens. It might be my favorite. It's so like surprising. You read it, and every paragraph, like you're just like, what's happening? And I mean, all the characters are so different and so surprising, and what happens to all the characters. I love the book. I think it's great. And this looks really good. I mean, I'm very, very, very excited about it.
Yeah, this
So,
has a lot. This has people I definitely love and respect behind it. Stephen Knight is producer. He wrote the screenplay for a movie called Locke, which stars Tom Hardy, a producer on this one.
mm,
And he also created Peaky Blinders, which I love. He wrote the screenplay for Spencer, which got a lot of awards buzz, the
mm,
Princess Diana biopic. So clearly, like, this dude knows what he's doing. Um, I'm not super familiar with the Great Expectations story. I know of it, and I think I've seen versions of it. I'm not overly familiar with it.
mhm.
I thought this was a bit unnecessarily dark. I mean, think about the story of this young man wanting to get into high society, but he can't until he gets a lot of money behind him, and then he can go. And they're treating this kind of like the new season of Peaky Blinders. You're just like,
Mhm.
why is this so unnecessarily grimy? Like, I mean, that I'm
Yeah,
sure that
well,
was the
Miss
time
Havisham,
period.
so her character, Miss Havisham, she got left at the altar and then she never got out of her wedding dress after all these years. She is a pretty creepy, weird, strange character. That she's still got the old wedding cake like rotting, and and she's a pretty gnarly character. So and so since the trailer pretty much focused on her, I can understand that. If the whole movie is that way, then it will get a little bit too much, because there are lighter characters and there are moments of happiness for Pip. And as he starts to figure out who his benefactor is, because he thinks it is Miss Havisham at first, and so we'll see how it goes. But I can see you saying that, but she's just such a weird character that it's kind of crazy. She's not the kind of character that you expect to find in a Dickens novel. This woman who never got out of her wedding dress and is just super uh,
I mean, now
yeah.
that you say that, this definitely seems like something Stephen Knight would want to produce because he did the very dark version of A Christmas Carol that FX did in 2019, that Guy Ritchie did. He did
Oh yeah, I heard that was bad though. Yeah,
I
that
have
movie.
not seen it. I've been compelled to and I've wanted to, but I've heard kind of things about
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah,
And
me
then
too.
and then he worked with Tom Hardy on the one season show Taboo, which I really liked, which is very dark. So maybe I'm just misjudging this one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They have, I think they have Shalom Brune Franklin as Estella, who's supposed to be kind of the ideal woman, like kind of a muse or goddess kind of type of character. So that'll be interesting to see if she does with that. And then you have, it is a diverse cast for it, which is fun. But they're definitely leaning on Olivia Colman as Miss Havisham, and that's pretty much the whole trailer is her, and so that's gonna be interesting to see. I am gonna give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I'll meet you there, 3.5.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have coming to Hallmark. It's very exciting. They have a new show coming called Ride, which will also be available on Peacock. So that's why I included it on here. It follows the lives of the McMurrays as they struggle to keep their beloved ranch afloat. And this stars Nancy Travis, Tira Scobie, and Bo Murkoff. And what did you think? The little preview.
This kind of seemed a bit like a Heartland clone.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like because there's a ranch involved, there's people trying to save the ranch, which is something I know that you absolutely love. So I was kind of like, I know Heartland's popular, but are we getting Heartland clones now? Like, what's going on
Yeah.
here?
That is my worry, is that it'll be a Heartland copycat. The lead character is younger. I mean, the lead character is younger in Heartland, She's a teenager at the beginning at least, and here you have Nancy Travis as the lead character, I think, in the story, and sort of the family. Yeah, it definitely feels Heartland wannabe, but it's pretty exciting because they just had this show called The Way Home on Hallmark, which is this time traveling show, and it's been great. And so it's kind of exciting for them to have two new shows in the course of 2 months. Is really cool because Hallmark hasn't done that many new shows. I mean, they had really only about a half a dozen shows in the whole history of the network, and the last new show that they had was Chesapeake Shores, I think, and that was a while back. So to have this year two new shows is pretty cool. So this is definitely, I was more invested and more excited about The Way Home, and it lived up to the hype. This one, we'll see. I'm going to be covering it, so and I'm excited because my cousin's wife she's a horse person. She's on races horses and stuff. She's going to come on the recaps, so that'll be fun.
I was
um,
going to say I can't wait for to edit yours and Michelle's coverage, but that sounds
yeah,
cool.
yeah, and when we're still going to be, we have season 16 of Heartland coming up sometime. They haven't announced the premiere yet, but we're going to be starting the coverage maybe even a little bit earlier than when it starts in US because it's already completed in Canada. So anyway, but we'll be covering two horse shows at the same time. So anyway, I'm gonna give this a 2.5. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be
Yeah,
good.
I'll meet you there. It could be fine, but at the same time I was thinking to myself like, all right, where's Ty? Is Ty gonna be coming in here?
Yeah. Yeah. Where's Amy? All right. So then we're getting into some of the movies coming in March. We have Creed 3. This is your third movie in this little trilogy. Adonis has been thriving in both his career and family life, but when a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy resurfaces, the face-off is more than just a fight. And this is directed by Michael B. Jordan, and it stars Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and Jonathan Majors. So, what do you think about Creed 3?
Big old four for me. Every trailer I've seen of this has just got me more hyped to see it. I just uploaded my review of the first Creed, just a cheap plug for me and my channel. But just rewatching clips of Creed, I was just thinking to myself, this movie had no right to be as good as it was, and yet somehow it was. That and Creed 2, I love both of them equally. And Creed 3 just looks just as good, if not better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it looks great. Everybody I know who's seen it already said that it's great. I'm going to be seeing it actually tomorrow. So by the time this airs, I will already gone to the screening. But yeah, it looks really good. Compelling characters. I mean, Jonathan Majors is, such a good actor. So he's a great add to this franchise. And I mean, I think I'm going to miss having Rocky in it a little bit. I'm a little concerned about that. But other than that, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I'm going 4 here.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 3.5. But yeah, definitely. My only, like I said, my only concern is, will you miss having Rocky in it? But it looks pretty good. So then we have another movie called Champions, and this comes out March 10th, and it's a former minor league basketball coach is ordered by the court to manage a team of players with intellectual disabilities. He soon realizes that despite his doubts, together this team can go further than they ever imagined. And it's kind of funny to me that you have people with anger issues getting assigned to be coaches. So if you've seen Mighty Ducks, that's the plot in there as well. Is that this punishment? I mean, I probably wouldn't want my child to be coached by somebody who had anger anger issues. I don't
Yeah,
know, but
definitely not worth absorbing the risk on that one.
but this looks cute. I think it'll be good. Woody Harrelson, Teach Marine, Ernie Hudson, Caitlin Olsen. It looks cute. What'd you think of the trailer?
I like this. I thought it looks I think it looks like it's got a big heart. It kind of reminds me of this little scene movie called Rebound, starring Martin Lawrence. He's a big time coach in the college leagues, but again has anger issues and has to go and teach a team of kids, and he does
Yeah.
really well at it. But this time around in Champions, it's kids with intellectual disorders. So I think that would be very nice to see. And Woody Harrelson's a really good actor, so this should be good. I'm going to go three and a
Yeah,
half up.
same. I'm gonna go three. But yeah, it looks cute. Okay, so then we have Shazam 2. So this will be our second superhero movie of the year. And we all know my experience with the first Shazam. Wasn't the biggest fan, but the film continues the story of teenage Billy Batson, who, upon reciting the magic word Shazam, is transformed into his adult superhero alter ego Shazam. Now, it seems like from the trailer, he's not going to be teen Billy that much. That
Definitely
they're gonna
seems that.
he's gonna be most this one, he's gonna be adult. Did you get that feeling?
I definitely think that's going to be the case, especially with getting the Helen Mirren character and the
Mhm.
daughters of Ares. It will definitely be a Shazam heavy movie, which I mean, if you watch the first Shazam, there's a good part of it where we just see teen Billy Batson and his struggle to find his mom and that whole
Mhm.
thing
Yeah, that
surrounding.
was weird. The tone problems I had with the first one, I think will be better in this one because we are staying more in the adult realm, and you've got all of the other metas that are all the whole family that's going to be there. That'll be fun. And it'll be fun to have Rachel Zegler there, Lucy Liu, some of the others. So I'm hopeful that this one will be more successful. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
Yeah, I'll
But
meet you there too. And I mean, it feels weird with how they're billing the Flash, how it feels like it's going to be pretty much a hard reset after the Flash.
yeah,
This movie kind of feels inconsequential.
agreed. Yeah, I think so. I think they're kind of just putting it out because it's been made more than anything else. Yeah. Okay, so then we have Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. A charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers embark on an epic quest to retrieve a lost relic, but things go dangerously awry when they run afoul of the wrong people. And this stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Roger Jean Page, and yeah, and Hugh Grant is in this, evidently. So what do you think about this?
At the risk of sounding harsh, I low key kind of forgot this movie was coming out until fairly recently when a big standee was erected in my theater to be like, oh yeah, that's coming out. Now I have no connection to Dungeons and Dragons at all. The only thing I know about it is the really bad Jeremy Irons one from the year 2000. And just a fun fact, that was released by New Line Cinema. The year afterwards, they released a little movie called The Fellowship of the Ring. So there
Mm,
you got
that really,
the
I was thinking
duality
that
of a
was,
movie studio.
I was thinking that was older than that. Huh.
Nope.
I was
Lord of the Rings was 2001, 2, and 3, respectively.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, I have no investment in Dungeons and Dragons. I think the trailers look serviceable and it's a pretty good cast, so it could be fun. I kind of worry it'll be more like that what's it called? The video game movie. Um
Warcraft.
oh, hopefully not like Warcraft. That was terrible. But the um oh gosh, I can't think of the name all of a sudden. The what's it called? It was released right during the pandemic.
Oh, dang, now I can't think of it.
It's right on the tip of my tongue. They've got another one in the 90s of it. They
Resident Evil? No, that's not.
no. Oh my
It was
gosh. What's
released
wrong
right
with
in
me?
2020.
Mortal Kombat.
That's the one.
That's one I was thinking of. Yeah, I did not like that, care for that movie. The more recent one, the Mortal Kombat. I hope it'll be an improvement on that. Not that this is a video game, but still.
Yeah, well,
Uh
it's a game, so it's in
yeah.
same ballpark, but just different ball players.
Yeah, I mean hopefully it will be like it'll be a movie that kind of surprises that we don't think will be as good, and then it ends up being a lot of fun, like Love and Monsters or something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.
Yeah, same thing too.
Yeah, I like Chris Pine a lot. So okay, then we have 65. And this movie looks pretty bonkers. You've got Adam Driver, and it's an astronaut crash lands on a mysterious planet only to discover he's not alone. And so this is all about Adam Driver and dinosaurs.
You
What do you
know,
think?
whenever I see this trailer, I consistently am like, what is up with sci-fi movies and them trying to go through a black hole and then they end up at Earth 65 like in the far or the far past or the far future. Like it's either Planet of the Apes or this. It's like
Hmm.
a weird phenomenon, but
Yeah.
I think they kind of gave up the ghost with the whole twist, with the whole thing that it's Adam Driver in 65 million years in the past going up against dinosaurs. It's like
Hmm.
have that be the big reveal. And this is from the
Mm,
writers of A Quiet Place. So I have some hope that this will be good, but at the same time, it's like when I first saw the trailer and said 65 million years ago, I'm like, wow, you just kind of spoiled it for all of us, pretty much.
hmm. Yeah, I can see that. That's true. I hope this will also be kind of like Love and Monsters, like a surprise with a lot of heart and it's entertaining. I have worried that it's going to take itself too seriously, and so this ended up being super boring. Especially because, like you said, give away the 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 novelty of the dinosaurs. Would that could have been a surprise, but then I guess how do you get people in the door if you don't tell them that they're going to see dinosaurs? How do you get them to come? So I'm going to give it. I guess this is optimistic. I'm going to give it a 3. Because I like Adam Driver so much, and I just hope that it'll be good. But I feel like this one has a high pass fail.
I'll
It's either gonna be really good, we're gonna all love it, or it's gonna be terrible.
I'll go 2.5.
Okay, okay, good. All right. So then we have Daisy Jones and the Six. And this is on, hold on, let me get that up. Sorry. Okay. So this is following the rise of rock band Daisy Jones and the Six through the 70s LA music scene on their quest for worldwide icon status. This stars Riley Keough, Sebastian Chacon, Sam Claflin. I've actually read this book that it's based on. It's a pretty entertaining book. And so, what did you think of the trailer?
Um, I had no idea who this band was, to be honest with you, but
Well, it's fake. It's fiction.
oh, I was
Yeah.
going to say, I was going to think to myself, wait,
Yeah.
and because I know most of the big bands from that time, and I was like, did I miss one? Turns out, no. I I thought this was going to be like a Stevie Nicks clone kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah. It's like almost famous in that way. The book is at least about fictional band.
Yeah, but if they
Yeah.
keep this kind of mockumentary style, then I think there could be a lot of juice to squeeze in this lemon. I think I'll
Mhm.
go 3 on this one.
Yeah, I really like the book. I think a lot of it will depend on how like good the music is and the chemistry and everything. It's 10 episodes, so a pretty long run. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I'll watch it because I just don't have time, but I did like the book, so I'll also give it a 3. Okay, so then we have Chris Rock's Selective Outrage. This is the first live comedy special that Netflix has done. And they're obviously inviting controversy by giving it that title, Selective Outrage. I don't know. What do you think?
I think this looked I think this looked interesting. I mean, I feel like this could be a shot at Netflix because of the whole Dave Chappelle kind of thing that happened a few years ago. It's gonna be interesting because I honestly haven't seen much of Chris Rock's stuff. I saw a lot of his like earlier stuff, like in the late 90s, early 2000s. I saw some of
Hmm.
it, and he is genuinely funny. It's gonna be interesting to see how this goes over, especially with the whole Oscar slap Will
Yeah,
Smith
I'm
thing
sure that they're going to
earlier.
be, there's going to be some jokes about that. No
Oh,
question.
there's that would be wasted money if Rock didn't mention it.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like they're going to lean into this sort of woke culture, and I mean, you don't title something selective outrage without having a lot of that. So that'll either be funny or terrible. I'm kind of mixed on. I mean, I feel like Chris Rock has had really bad luck in his movie roles, and but I haven't listened to a bunch of his stand up as you say. I have to admit. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he does. I mean, I probably won't watch this, but I feel like it's interesting it being live and also that it's the selective outrage. I feel like that's a very clickbaity title.
Yeah, without
All
a
right.
doubt.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a 2, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll go two as well.
Yeah. Okay, then we have an animated film called The Magician's Elephant. What do you, okay, it says an orphan boy is told by a fortune teller that an elephant will help him find his lost sister. This is based on Kate DiCamillo novel, and Brian Tyree Henry and Mandy Patinkin are in the voice cast. What'd you think?
I love the animation style. I think that the animation looked very nice. I'm not familiar with the story, so I think that there is potential here. I might be slightly generous. I'm gonna go three on this one. I think this looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean the animation looked a little cheap for me, but if the story's good and the voice cast and the music and other things, those are all good, then I'm fine with that. So we'll see how it ends up being, but yeah, I agree a 3. Hopefully it'll be good. Okay, then we have The Night Agent. This is on Netflix, and it's a low-level FBI agent, Peter Sutherland, who works in the basement of the White House, manning a phone that never rings until the night it does, propelling him into a conspiracy that leads all the way to the Oval Office. And so, what did you think about this? Do you think it looked good?
I think it looked interesting. For some reason, this trailer was kind of giving me 24 vibes, like the TV show 24
Yeah,
with Sutherland. It feels like if they play their cards right, they might do something like that because pretty much 24's entire premise was Jack Bauer trying to weed out conspiracies. That was pretty much the premise of the show. So if they're able to capture some of that magic, then it's at the least very interesting. But the trailer is very brief and doesn't reveal a ton. I think I'm gonna
yeah.
go two and a half.
And I guess it's based on a novel by Matthew Quirk, is the name. That they said a pandemic read has led to a series order at Netflix. So evidently this was a big seller during the 2019, and it was a big seller during the pandemic. So that could be interesting. And yeah, I mean, I thought it looked like a pretty good premise. This idea of this mysterious phone, and so I'm going to give it a 3. I probably won't watch it, but it looked for what it is. It looked pretty good, I thought. Okay. So then we have Murder Mystery Party 2. So this is sequel because we all needed a sequel to the first one. Which in the world of Adam Sandler movie comedies for Netflix, that one wasn't that bad. It was serviceable. And so the second one, full-time detectives Nick and Audrey are struggling to get their private eye agency off the ground. They find themselves at the center of international abduction when their friend Maharaja is kidnapped at his own lavish wedding. And of course, this stars Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston and Mark Strong. What'd you think?
I like Adam Sandler. I think at times he can be very funny. I stress at times because I know he's had some really big duds. This one kind of didn't do much for me. I feel like just based on history, him and Jennifer Aniston getting together hasn't done all of that much. I
Yeah.
think just from what I've seen, I'm struggling to give it like a 1.5.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it might be okay, but like just sort of junk food kind of entertainment. But it certainly didn't look funny to me. And it looked like another excuse for Adam Sandler to go on vacation with his friends. So yeah, I would give it a generous 2.
It feels like a bit of a regression because he's in Uncut Gems, then he was in Hustle, which I have not seen, but I've heard nothing but good things. And then
Mm-hmm.
he's back to like the thing that he's known for. It's a
Yeah.
weird flex.
Yeah. All right. What did you give it? Oh, one
I
and a
give it
half.
a
One
one
and a
and
half.
a half, right?
Okay, so then we have Polite Society. This I saw at Sundance. It's Rhea Khan believes that she must save her older sister Lena from her impending marriage. After enlisting her friend's help, she attempts to pull off the most ambitious of all wedding heists in the name of independence and sisterhood. So, what did you think of this trailer?
I'm kind of a sucker for heist related anything.
Hmm.
So at the very least, I'm going to give it a 3. I think it looks fun.
Hmm. It was fun. I gave it a fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a little crowded, kind of and a little all over the place. It's trying to do, I think, a little bit too much. And but I like the fact that she's like genuinely terrible at martial arts. And you'd think that a character like this would just be over. A lot of times they're sort of over qualified that like, but she's terrible. um, until the moment that she needs to be strong. But her dream is to be like a stunt woman. There's this stunt woman that she idolizes, and there's lots of cheeky humor and lots of like captions and things like that, explaining things that are happening and that are funny. Her and her sister have nice chemistry. I think things get totally insane, totally crazy, but some people were saying, "Oh, it's like a man-hater movie." No, it's not. The main villain is actually a woman. I won't go into any more, but there is the woman. I mean, there is the man that her sister is marrying, but he's like a minor character. So it's not a like man-hating movie. I don't think by any stretch. It's just about these two sisters. So I think that most people will have a lot of fun. I think that people that really love Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think this has a lot of the same energy as that movie. So people that like that, I think this could be this year's version of it. I enjoyed it. So I give a 3.
Yeah, I gave it a 3 as well.
Okay, then we have Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Of course, this is based on the Judy Blume novel. And out of Sundance, I'm not sure when the documentary is going to be released, but there was a great documentary at Sundance about Judy Blume. So if people, I would assume they'd try to release it right around this same time. So definitely put that on your radar because even if you don't know anything about Judy Blume, it was a great documentary. I really enjoyed it. But this is when her family moves from the city to the suburbs, 11-year-old Margaret navigates new friends, feelings, and the beginning of adolescence. It stars Rachel McAdams and Kathy Bates. But what do you think about the trailer?
I've seen this trailer now a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wondering where I heard the name Judy Blume from, and turns out she wrote a few books about like this little boy named Fudge, who is
Mm-hmm.
like and his family that I read quite a bit, and I was like, oh, that's where I know her from. She's a very good author. Now,
Yes.
I had never heard of the book, but from the trailer, I think it looks like a very fun coming of age kind of movie.
Yeah.
I kind of laugh at the part where they're in the convenience store. I'm sure you know the part I'm talking about, where
Mm-hmm.
like buy the things and it's like, please
Oh
be
yeah.
Please be a
Who's
woman.
speaking?
Please be a woman. It turns out this greasy high school teenager is there. Is
Yeah,
like,
and the book was really revolutionary in the way that it talked to kids honestly about puberty and adolescence, and so a lot of people really loved it. And part of the documentary is the incredible letters that she got from kids for years and years, and some people she corresponded with for years. I thought that was amazing, and it really struck a nerve at the time. So I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm going to reread the book before the movie comes out. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
yeah, I'll meet you there. I think this could be potentially very good, if for nothing else, Rachel McAdams, because she's
Yeah,
very talented.
and I'm glad that they're keeping it set in the 70s instead of, because it wouldn't be, I don't think it's charming now because you'd have to include like social media and stuff like that. So
Yeah, whole different movie, whole different
yeah,
book if they set it in modern day.
yeah. All right. So then we have Air, and this is follows the history of the shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro and how he led Nike in its pursuit of the greatest athlete in the history of basketball, Michael Jordan. And we have Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Viola Davis, Chris Tucker, huge cast. What do you think?
This is getting a big old four from me. I've seen this
Yeah,
trailer now a couple times, and it looks like it looks like the kind of movie that's meant for me. It's like I feel like Ben Affleck is back in the director's chair. He's also starring in it. Matt Damon's also there. I like these two together. So I feel like this could be very fun. I just hope that they focus on the whole getting Michael Jordan side of things. And it feels like that they're definitely going in that direction. They're focusing on just one aspect of Nike, not the whole Nike origin story.
yeah, I agree. I think this has potential to be one of my favorites of the year. The script looks really good. The acting looks really good. Looks entertaining. So yeah, I'm excited. So 4 for me as well. Next we have Paint. And this is in Paint. Owen Wilson portrays Carl Nargle, Vermont's #1 public television painter, who is convinced he has it all, a signature perm, custom van, and fans hanging on his every stroke until a younger, better artist steals everything and everyone Carl loves. I found this trailer to be kind of confusing. Like, obviously, they are riffing off of Bob Ross, and but this doesn't seem to have anything to do with the story of Bob Ross, or like this is completely different. This is not his character. Like there is controversy when it comes to Bob Ross's life and um how he was manipulated and controlled by these managers and people that stole from him and all of that. That's true, but that doesn't have anything to do with anything that this story is. So this is like it's just kind of weird to me. Like they're making it seem like it's Bob Ross, but it's not Bob Ross like at all.
Yeah, without a doubt. And from what I've read, it very much was like an Elvis Colonel Tom kind of situation where Bob Ross would just do all the painting and they would collect and he didn't
Yeah.
see like a cent. It was a very sad
Yeah.
story. But I mean,
Well,
when I
and
first saw
also all the
this,
merchandising, like Bob Ross paints and Bob Ross, all that stuff was all very underhanded on it. Like people say, don't buy Bob Ross stuff because it doesn't go to him actually in his estate. It goes to this other guy. And it's all in there was a documentary about it on Netflix about Bob Ross. But so I don't know. I think this project is weird.
it definitely weird, just based off of what Owen Wilson looks like in the film. It's very clear that this is like you might as well have named him like Rob Foss or something
Yeah.
like that. Like Fob Boss or something like that because it's
Hmm.
like he looks the same.
Well, and it's weird when you actually have a story there where they could make a movie about what happened to Bob Ross. Why are they doing this weird fictional character and this supposed younger painter is coming? Like that's not a thing.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Yeah, I'll meet you there, and I'm struggling with that one because when I was watching it, I was like, "This is weird. This is a
Yeah, I
weird
thought so too.
class. It really is."
Yeah. Okay, so then we have Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world, which is a mouthful title. But it's about the life and boxing career of George Foreman, stars Forrest Whitaker, um, and then nobody else that I know. But yeah, I mean, this looked serviceable, I thought, as a like true story um biopic. It looked fine to me. What do you think?
Yeah, this definitely looked it looked serviceable, like you said. I sincerely hope that I hope that it is good. I just know George Foreman for the grills
Yeah,
and the documentary When We Were Kings, which I highly recommend.
yeah. So what will you give it?
I'll go 2.5 on this.
Okay, so then we have the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's from Illumination, the story of the Super Mario Brothers on their journey through the Mushroom Kingdom. And this, of course, stars Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day. I think this looks pretty good. I'm excited for it. I think the animation looks absolutely beautiful. It's definitely, without a doubt, the most ambitious as far as animation goes that Illumination has ever done. It looks the most beautiful, the most creative, and so I think that it's going to be fun. I just hope that they've got the story there that'll match up with the visuals that I'm seeing. I know a lot of people are up in the air about Chris Pratt. I don't really care. I think it'll be fine. It's probably a waste of money. I don't think they need to have the star power in there. They could have just used a voice actor, but whatever. But I'm actually really hopeful that this will be something artistically ambitious because Illumination has never done that, and kind of start the studio on a new path.
Yeah, the movie looks outstanding.
Hmm.
I haven't played much of Mario anything. Really, the only thing I played is Mario Kart and various incarnations of that. And whenever I see the end of the trailer where it's like all the vehicles going after Mario and he does the wahoo, I'm like, I'm back at my movie theater challenging Hannah to beat the top score. So it takes me right into that happy place there. So I'm going to give this one a 3. I have high hopes for this.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a 4 just because I am so hopeful, maybe falsely so, that this will be something really cool from Illumination and I want to see it. So I'm just, and plus the fact it's we'll have had such a drought of animated films. Nothing from Puss in Boots until Super Mario Brothers, which is crazy. So we'll see. But all right, we're almost done. Let's talk about One True Loves. This is a woman is unexpectedly forced to choose between the husband she has long thought dead and the fiance who has finally brought her back to life. And this stars Philippa Sue, Luke Bracey, and Simu Liu. What do you think?
I think this looked interesting. I mean, it's interesting that BuzzFeed is producing this. They went from doing listicles to doing stuff like this. So
Uh,
that's definitely commendable. It feels kind of weird. It feels like have this life and then the husband supposedly dies and then she moves on and is like, "Oh, the husband isn't dead after all." I don't know how to feel about that weirdly. It might they might make it work, but it just that part aside, I think this looked interesting. I'll go 2.5.
mm-hmm. The director, Andy Fickman, I've actually interviewed him before for his movie Christmas Again, which was actually pretty cute on Disney Channel. I mean, I love Philippa Sue, and Luke Bracey is one of the most handsome people on the planet. He's so good looking, and I love Simu Liu, both for Kim's Convenience and for Shang-Chi. So it's got a good cast. I mean, I think this is going to be a very, very soapy, silly movie. Um, but the fact that Apple has bought it is kind of surprising. This does not seem like the type of movie that they would typically buy. So there might be more gravitas to it than we think, because it looks like a soap opera movie, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I can have fun with those, but I'm gonna give it a 2. But hopefully it'll be good. Okay, then we have. Would you give it a score?
I said 2.5.
Oh, 2.5. Okay, sorry. Okay, then we have Renfield, and this is our Dracula movie with Nicolas Cage as Dracula, Nicholas Holt as Renfield. Um, what do you think?
Um, Again, I kind of feel like we need a straight Dracula movie before we start going into like Dracula's assistant. But I mean,
Hmm.
props to Nick Cage for looking the part, and I'm a big fan of Nicholas Holt. So there's definitely stuff I like here. I'm going to go 2.5.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty fun trailer, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. We have Chris McKay directing, who's done a bunch of like the Lego movies and things like that. Um, and so hopefully it'll be pretty funny. Um, yeah, Aquafina's in there. I don't know how silly it's really going to be if it's going to take itself seriously. I mean, is this going to be like pure camp, or is this going to be like just have some sarcastic comments and things like that? Like, what kind of is going to be like what we did in the Shadows, which is like the characters are taking themselves seriously, but that's kind of why it's funny, because they're so ridiculous. Um, I don't know. It's a little hard to tell. I'm going to give this a 2. Okay. Two more. Then we have Suzume, and this is the latest from Makoto Shinkai. And everybody knows how much I love Makoto Shinkai,
I was
the
going to say,
director.
when I was watching this, I think I can predict your score.
And it's a modern action adventure road story where 17-year-old girl named Suzumi helps mysterious young man close doors from the outer side that are releasing disasters all over Japan. And there's something to do with the young man becomes a chair at some point or something going on with that. Uh, this looks
Oh, Japan.
absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie does look stellar. I mean, just how Toho was able to accomplish this, I just have no idea, but I'm grateful they're doing it. I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4. Of course, I'm super excited. I His last movie, Weathering with You, was a little tiny bit disappointing. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but it's hard to live up to the hype of Your Name for me at least, because that's such a special movie to me. So I don't think anything could quite live up to that. But now we have this, and I just the animation alone just looks so beautiful. The way he captures rain and comets in the sky and everything is so beautiful. So this is one of my most anticipated of the year, along with Spider-Verse. They were my most anticipated. So I'm gonna give it a 4. Okay, one last one. It's called Chevalier, and this is based on the true story of composer Joseph Boulogne, Chevalier de Saint George, the illegitimate son of an African slave and a French plantation owner, who rises to heights in French society as a composer for an ill-fated love affair. This stars Samara Weaving, Lucy Boynton, Minnie Driver, um, Kelvin Harrison Jr. as Chevalier. And the only thing that makes me hesitant about this movie is I do feel like, because it was released in I think France or in Europe in 2022, and so I feel like if they really had faith in it, they would have done an Oscar run for it. It feels like an Oscar-y movie, so the fact that it got delayed in the States until April feels a little bit like maybe it's not that good. But just from the trailer, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the cast. I think the dude they got to play Chevalier is going to be very charismatic, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to see what he does. Minnie Driver, I'm always looking to see what she's doing, and she seems suitably maniacal here. It
Mm-hmm.
it kind of these two stories are completely different, but the design and production design kind of reminds me of Serrano that we got a
Oh
couple
yeah,
years
Cyrano,
back with
yeah.
Peter Dinklage. Kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of that, just the same color palette and all that. I know the two stories
Mm-hmm.
are like here and here. They're two different, but at the same time, I think this has potential. I'm gonna go 2.5.
And I think, let me check something really quick. Yeah. So Kelvin Harrison Jr. was in Cyrano. He played
Wow.
Christian.
Well, shout out to Kelvin Harrison Jr. He's crushing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And you have another appearance of Marie Antoinette in this movie. Lucy Boynton plays Marie Antoinette. So everybody's thinking about the French Revolution right now. I don't know why. It's on everyone's mind. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a 3. So there we go. We did it.
All right.
We previewed all of the movies and shows that were of interest to us. And so let us know what you think of these movies and shows, what rating you would give them. If you're listening, we'd love to hear in the comments or on Twitter. And Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. And there's, of course, my YouTube channel just called Ryan Cam. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm doing my Road to Creed 3 series. My Creed video dropped on Monday, and this coming Monday will be my review for Creed 2, so look forward to that. And then I did an Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania spoiler-free and filled reviews. The filled one I did with Ryan from the Real Spective podcast, so that was a fun discussion. So check those out if you're so inclined. If you haven't checked me out, please do.
Yes, definitely. You shall check it out. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you follow me on Hallmarkies Podcast. And if you are listening to this episode on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have the Patreon group and merch store, so check that out. And thanks again, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye.